Hey everyone, thank you for coming to this video for the follow-up on my message called Even If. Now if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. Go ahead and check the description of this video. You will find a link to the message I gave this past Sunday called Even If. We talked about Daniel chapter 3, what it looks like to have faith in God, to follow God, even if we don't know the outcome of our circumstances. So you want to watch that before you watch this video, because some of the things I'm going to say here won't make sense if you don't. So go ahead and pause this video. It's okay, I'll be waiting here for you. Go watch that one and then come back and continue with this one. It'll be great. If you have heard the message, whether you were in the room or online at the time, I just want to thank you for coming here. I want to thank you for your courage to find out what it might take to take another step toward being able to say, even if he doesn't, I will still follow. Because one thing I didn't get to talk about on Sunday is how hard of a concept that is. I mentioned it, but I didn't get to talk about it at length. Because it's very hard. It's very hard to be able to say that. It's not like a switch you can flip and then you're good, and no hardship in your life is ever going to be hard to deal with anymore. That's not how it works. So what I hope to accomplish in the next few moments here with you is to give you one practical step that you can take starting right now to get closer to that goal, to get closer to that idea. I want to help us do this by comparing it to severe weather events. Think a hurricane. If you live in Central Virginia, you've probably experienced a couple of those in your lifetime. What do we do when we know that a hurricane or a really bad storm is on the way? We prepare. We prepare. We prepare. If it's bad enough, we might board up the windows, we might put sandbags in front of the garage door or a front door or whatever it is. We take precautions to weather the storm. Think about the wildfires in Australia just earlier this year. What did people there have to do? They had to prepare. With the notice they had to gather the things that they cared about most, gather their family, and get out of town as fast as they could. They had to prepare. And maybe sometimes you have a little bit of time, maybe you have a lot of time. It doesn't matter. The preparation is equally important in both scenarios. And that's the step I encourage you to take here, too. We don't always know when bad things are going to happen to us. We don't always know when we're going to struggle. But we can start preparing now anyway, because there's one thing I can tell you is going to happen. It's beside all the joys in life that come, there will be hard times. It's just a reality of our world. And so preparing now will help us in the future to be able to say even if. And this is what I mean. Every time I pray, or at least I try to every single time I pray, I want to include the sentence or the phrase, God, thank you for who you are and what you've done. And I'll say that for a couple of reasons. The first is I just want to thank God for those things. I just want to let him know that I'm grateful for who he is and what he's done in my life. But the next one is to prepare myself. You see, I want to say that every time I pray to help myself remember that God is who he is and here are the things he's done. So, on top of that, I'll also pair it with a real example of those things. Let me explain. So when I say, God, thank you for who you are, I'll say, the creator and sustainer of life. God, thank you for who you are, the creator and sustainer of life. And thank you for what you've done, giving me a healthy daughter, an amazing wife, a good career, whatever it is. I'll remind myself of these things. And those attributes, those things that God has done and attributes about who he is, I change those every time. So saying it doesn't become stale in my prayer. And also, I'm building a running list of those things as well. God, thank you that you are creator, sustainer. Thank you that you are goodness. Thank you that you embody what love should look like. Thank you that you are powerful. Thank you for that you are just. I'll say, God, thank you for all that you've done. A healthy daughter, an amazing wife, a career that I love, providing for me when I didn't think I was going to have enough. The list goes on and on and on. My house, this food I'm about to eat, whatever the subject of my prayer is, I always include this phrase, and it's to prepare myself. So when the hard time comes, when the storm arrives, even if I didn't see it coming, I'll have been building this list that gets longer and longer of who God is and what He's done. Thousands of times I'll have prayed this. So when it comes and the time is hard, I'll be able to remember, God, even if you don't act in this scenario, I know that these things, who you are, you're still these things. And I know that you've done all of these things in my life already. And is that going to make going through the scenario easy? No. Depending on what it is, it might still be the very hardest thing of my life, and I still might pray desperately that God intervenes. In fact, Scripture would support that idea. Scripture would support the idea of asking for our prayers, or asking God in our prayers for the things that we want. The petitions is what it might call it. So it's not like it's bad to ask for those things when it gets hard. It's not. But the idea is, even if He doesn't do what I've asked or what I hope that happens, I will still follow, because all these things about Him are true still, and all the things that He has done are still true. So I hope this helps you. That's just one thing that you can do. And if you need to keep a literal list on a sheet of paper or on your phone, in a note on your phone, whatever it is, if that helps you, then you ought to do that. For me, I lose lists. I'm not very good at them, so I just keep them in my head. But you might be great at them, so write it down. Write these things down. And it doesn't even have to be when you're praying. If you're just thinking about it, just continually add to this list when you think about something else, when you see something else God has done. So you could pull that up, or you could think about it when the hard time comes. And remember that even if God doesn't move in this scenario like I think He should, He's still God, and He's still good. So I hope that helps you. I hope you'll continue to watch some more video follow-ups that we have on this subject, some more posts on our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube, wherever it is. Come check it out. Please do yourself the service of getting some of this content in your hands, because this is a difficult concept, but we can get there. You can get there. So join us, join me as we continue to explore what that might take, and I will see you there.